Hey guys, welcome back to my kitchen. Today we're gonna be making some delicious chicken enchiladas with homemade enchilada sauce featuring our dried guajillos, pasillas, and chipotles. And we have a very special guest today. Who's joining me?
Gemma.
Gemma's gonna help us out again today. So the first thing we're gonna do is prep our peppers. First, we have our guajillos, which are gonna bring a sharp, fruity flavor. We've got our pasillas, which are actually just dried poblanos, low in heat, but have a sweet, smoky flavor. And then we have our dried chipotles, which actually come from smoked jalapenos, and they give a nice sweet heat and a lot of smokiness. You ready, sister? Grab your scissors. So the first thing you're gonna wanna do, let me grab another bowl, is we're gonna cut the tops of these off and just try to shake out all of those seeds in there. You can kind of hear them rustling around. This is where a lot of your heat is gonna be. Good job. You can rip them up if you need to. We're gonna cut these up anyways. So this is gonna be your first task. Get all those seeds out. Ooh, that was a good one. So now that we've got all the seeds out, and be very careful not to touch your face, you're just gonna take your kitchen scissors or your hands, and we're just gonna cut these into little pieces. Some of our more brittle peppers will kind of break apart. The chipotles are a little gummy. Got it, babe? So we're gonna move on with our prep. We're gonna grab our tomatoes and our onion, and we're really just gonna cut these in half or quarters. This onion's pretty big and these heirloom tomatoes are pretty big, so we'll quarter them. But that tomato, just cut it in half, get the stem out of there, and then we're good to go. It's fast. So before we can make our sauce, we need to toast all of these yummy, delicious things. We're gonna start with toasting our chilies in a dry, hot pan, just for a minute or two. You don't wanna burn them. And then we're gonna give our tomatoes and onions a roast. We had some artistic liberties with that red tomato down there. And then we're gonna cover them with some water and actually cook our chicken for the enchiladas in that water with all that yummy goodness going on. Are you ready? Good job. We just want these to smell a little fragrant, a little nutty, but you don't wanna see any color. You wanna try? Put a little shimmy. You want me to lift it? Here, hold it higher up. Shake it around. Shake it around. Shake it around. So our chilies are nice and toasted. We're gonna dump those and set them aside. And using this same pan, we are going to put all of our onions and tomatoes in. We want these to get a little bit of color. Obviously we don't want them to burn, but it's just gonna add that extra yummy roasted flavor that we want. So our little kitchen assistant had to take a snack break. Very important to kitchen success is snack breaks. So always take breaks when you need to. Our tomatoes and onions are looking beautiful. We are gonna throw just 4 whole garlic cloves in here. You don't wanna do these early on because you do not wanna burn your garlic. You just can't ever come back from that. We are gonna toss our chilies back in. And then a little bit of black pepper, some salt. Actually, we're gonna pour this out. Always check what side you're using, folks. A little bit of salt. If you have some oregano at home, whether dried or fresh, now would be a good time to throw that in. You could throw some cilantro in. Now we're just gonna take our water and you're just gonna add in enough to cover everything. So it should be around 4 cups, maybe a little bit more, maybe a little bit less. We're gonna give this a stir and see if we need anything else. And once you've got everything covered, we wanna bring this up to a boil. We're gonna add a little bit more water. My tomatoes and onions were extra big. There we go, that's perfect. As it cooks, they'll start to break down a little bit. They're gonna create more room in the pot. You can also just kind of stick your tongs in and separate those onions out. Perfect. We're gonna bring this to a boil, and while we wait for that, we're gonna butterfly some chicken breasts. We've got 3 chicken breasts here, and we're gonna butterfly them. We're gonna do this so that they're thinner, they cook more evenly, and they're a lot easier to shred when they're done. So the way I do this is, I just have one in front of me. I put my hand flat on top, and I'm gonna slide the knife in between, stopping before I break through. And it does not have to be perfect. And then you're able to kind of open them up, and they lay relatively flat. If you've got some really thick guys, go ahead and take like a meat pounder or a rolling pin. You can put some saran wrap over that and go to town to flatten them out if need be. You can just kind of feel the pressure underneath your hand so you know when to stop. I like to start on like the sloped side rather than the abrupt side. Needs a little bit down there. And we've got butterfly chicken breasts. See? Not as hard as it sounds. All right, so we've brought this to a slow boil. We are gonna take our chicken breasts, and there's no real science to this, but you just kind of want to nestle them in there. It's gonna get crowded, don't worry about it. You just want all that good stuff to be on top of the chicken. You really want to make sure onions can pop up, tomatoes can pop up. Try to make sure your chicken is really nice and tucked in so it can cook in that liquid. Put a lid on it, crank your heat down to 0. I know it sounds crazy, but just trust me on this. Set your timer for about 10 to 15 minutes, and then use your handy dandy kitchen thermometer and make sure that that chicken is at temp. You want anything between 155 to 160, 165. It will get cooked again, so if it's down in that 150 range, don't panic, it's okay, pull it out. So for our filling, we are gonna do not only chicken, but some really yummy roasted poblanos. If you have a gas stove, this will be perfect to just do on top of your burners. I do not, I'm jealous if you do. So I'm just gonna turn my oven on a high broil, and we're just gonna pop those on the racks. I check them probably every 5 or 7 minutes, only turning when that skin starts to blister, but they're okay to hang out in there. It's not the end of the world. It's gonna be a really yummy, smoky addition to our enchiladas. All right, we're gonna test our chicken real quick. Let's see what temp we're rolling with. Really get it in there. Ooh, except don't make it come out. Perfect. I wanted it right at 155. That worked out so well. Now we're just gonna grab those out. Let them rest for a little bit. Set these guys aside. And then I'm gonna do mine in a blender. You could do a food processor, whatever you like to make your sauces. I'm gonna use tongs at first just to get all the big stuff. You wanna get all your onions and tomatoes in there, all your chilies. And then once we get this loaded, we're gonna use the liquid that it cooked in and just again, fill it up so that everything is covered. And then we'll blend. So as you can see, my blender is just about full, but I still have a lot of delicious goodies in the pot. What I'm gonna do is add a little bit of this liquid in, blend it so that it breaks down a little bit and creates more room, and then I'll add the rest in. And to do that, while you could dump it and make a big mess, today, since I'm wearing white, we are gonna do it with a measuring cup. And I still splashed on myself. And just do it scoop by scoop, just to get a little liquid in there to help this blend, and then we'll add the rest in. So we've got this blended down a little bit. Gonna get the rest of our big stuff out. And then the best way that I have found to get all of your little chili pieces that are still in here, whatever you can't grab, is to put a little strainer over your largest measuring cup, and very carefully pour it over. You will 100% spill some of this, and that is okay. And now you've got all your goodies right there that you can then transfer over. So our sauce is ready. As you can see, our assistant is back and ready to shred that chicken. I'm gonna pull our poblanos out of the oven. As you can see, they're really nice and blistery. You can hear that skin crackle. You see the air bubbles. And what we're gonna do with these is kind of make a little steam trap.
What are those?
These are poblanos.
That I made.
And we're gonna wrap them up to trap that hot air in there. You can also do this by putting them in a bowl with some saran wrap on top. But we basically wanna steam them so that that skin peels off really easy. We're gonna set these aside and shred some chicken. Can I help? The poblanos are in here. You wanna open them? No? Can you open them up? It's a little hot. They're all wrinkly now because we trapped them in with all that steam.
Let me try it again.
We already opened them up. This would be a good time to put on some gloves, but if you don't have any, like me, all we're gonna do is break off. See how easy that peels off?
I want some gloves.
And we're gonna open this up and take this part out. We wanna get rid of those seeds. Hold on, Gemma. And get rid of the membranes. And then it makes it easier to lay it flat. Find a big piece and start peeling. So we've got our poblanos and we're just gonna give them a rough slice, kind of in long, skinny strands so that they fit nicely in our enchiladas. So we're gonna start our assembly. I highly recommend an apron because things are about to get messy and it's gonna be very red and probably stain very easy. So, be prepared for the mess. We are gonna take our sauce. I just like to leave it in my blender. Give a hearty drizzle to the bottom. Again, doesn't have to be perfect. Just get it all over. Sauce, that's right. And then we're gonna put some sauce on our plates. We've got all of our fixins. My handy dandy kitchen assistant is shredding up some cheese for us. And what you're gonna do is take your tortillas. If you're using corn, warm them up first. It is a step that I forget every time and I always get broken tortillas. So take your tortilla. We're just gonna kind of flip it up and down. They start to tear, that's okay. Up and down in our sauce. And then we're gonna take some chicken, a little bit of poblano in there, some cheese. This is Oaxaca cheese. If you can't find it in your grocery store, it's very similar to mozzarella and I will not tell on you. And then you're just gonna very gently roll it and we're gonna put it in our pan, seam side down, just like that. All right, we're gonna take our plates with our leftover sauce and just slide that on there. Don't want to be wasteful. You're all right. Move a little closer. And then all of our extra sauce. Just gonna drizzle that over. I'm coming towards you. Will you move your plate real fast, babe? Thank you. No such thing as too much enchilada sauce, right? So we're gonna top it with a little bit of pepper, a little bit of salt, and then we'll grate some cheese over the top. I chose to go with pepper jack today. You can do whatever floats your boat. We'll put it in the oven for probably only 5 to 10 minutes. You just wanna get that cheese melty and everything delicious. and then we'll put some avocado and some cilantro on top, and it'll be perfect. Can I help you? Just pop that side up there. Be really gentle with this one so we don't get too much, okay? So this is gonna go in an oven at about 375 degrees, uncovered. So we'll just tuck it in that middle rack. We'll say give it anywhere between 7 to 10 minutes. You wanna see the cheese bubbling and everything nice and hot, and then it's good to go. And we'll top it off and dinner is on the table. We are in the home stretch. So we're gonna pull our enchiladas out. They look delicious and bubbly. And, okay, we are going to top them with some cilantro and a little bit of avocado. Okay, I'm gonna cut this off for you. And then I just want you to go crazy and cut it on top, okay?
Okay.
Go to town, sister. Can you cut it over the enchiladas? Good job. I'll pull you closer and we'll get this avocado.
We don't
going.
want no stem.
You can put some stems on it. Cilantro has soft stems, so they are perfectly edible. So we've got this topped with cilantro, some fresh avocado, a little extra salt and pepper, a little red chili flake. You could do lime zest. You could do our chili lime blend.
Like this.
Yes, our assistant's doing some styling. You could do some fresh oregano, whatever you have that tastes good. If you have a little cotija cheese, that would be perfect. But other than that, it's ready to go. Should we dive in? Do you want me to get you a bite first, or you want me to go first?
I don't want to have a bite.
You don't want a bite? Let's get a little avocado in it. Gotta get all the good stuff together. Ooh, we gotta get a better one. Ooh, the chipotles bring a ton of yummy heat. Bite. What do you think? 1 thumbs up or 2 thumbs up? Only 1 thumb up? What could we do better? 2? High five. All right, guys, weeknight dinner approved. These are not your mother's enchiladas, but still worthy of a try. I say homemade enchilada sauce every time. You can go find this recipe and many more at Spiceology.com, and don't forget to check us out on YouTube. See you later.